Today, we're talking about healing the need to belong. If you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. My name is Mitzi. I am a frequency alchemist, and I'm here on my journey of remembering who I am beyond this physical body, and I help others do the same. So let's talk about belonging. This was a big thing for me for most of my life. And I would imagine that there are a lot of people that had similar experiences where I just wanted to fit in. The irony is not lost on me that I have a different name. Mitzi is not a common name. It's my given name. It's not short for anything. And I took a lot of teasing when I was a kid. Anything that you can think of that rhymes with that, I was called it. That exacerbated my feeling that I didn't belong, that I didn't fit in anywhere. And I just, more than anything, I just wanted to feel like I was accepted, that I belonged somewhere. Does that sound familiar to you? Do you have a similar experience? So I want to just dive into this a little bit and explore where this comes from. And then more importantly, how to heal it and why we would want to heal it. My personal experience is my need to belong stemmed from a core wound I had of not feeling like I was good enough. It didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter the great grades I got at school. It didn't matter how, if I excelled at anything. I never felt like it was good enough. I was always striving for acceptance from my parents mostly, but then that extended into the community around me. I grew up in a religious household, so we went to church. I don't recommend that for anybody, but that is a different video. But even within the church, I wanted to be a good girl. I wanted to belong. I wanted to do things that were expected of me, not rock the boat. Looking back, that was a core thing in my journey of healing. It was the thing that kept me from speaking up. It was the thing that kept me from shining my light and showing the world who I am. When my awakening happened, and I wanted to talk about all things cosmic, galactic, people looked at me like I had three heads. Then that reinforced this idea that I was not accepted, that I was somehow different or outcast. And really, in my heart of hearts, I just wanted to belong. I just wanted, what I really wanted was people to accept me for who I was. But that was a scary proposition because every time I would show them who I was, either with my name, my spiritual views, I would get laughed at, ostracized, picked on, all of those things. And I know there are millions of us that have similar stories. So what this drives in the background, this need to belong, it creates a situation where we may take on belief systems that don't align with who we are because we're trying to fit in. It can cause us to change who we are by keeping ourselves hidden, by only showing a little bit of who we are, because we're testing the waters to make sure that we're not going to get shoved aside, laughed at, made fun of, all of those things. So let's talk about the belief systems for a minute. So if we take on the belief system that says, well, I'll use an example from my real life. In part of my spiritual awakening or my spiritual growth, my awakening happened 27 years ago. And in all that time since, I have done all kinds of things. At one point, I was part of a spiritual community that said intuition had to look a certain way, that you weren't actually connecting to your guides if the information you got didn't look like A, B, or C, and they defined what A, B, or C was. Because I wanted to belong, because I wanted to be able to connect with my guides, I believed them. That did more damage. I didn't know it at the time. I couldn't see it. I thought they knew better. So in this community, um, she would have meetings, right, over Zoom, and she would do exercises, and she would, like, on the fly, like, tell me what I'm thinking of, or we had like breakout sessions, and we were going to tune into her and give answer whatever question she asked us. My information was always different. If she said she was holding something green, I always got blue and it was jagged, and she would say it was green and smooth. The one time that she wanted us to connect with her and tell her what what collective she was connected to, I get information right away. I got a visual. I get my information visually. I can feel it. And sometimes I just know. Any combination of those is how I get my information. I got a visual of her right away. I saw that it was a male form, and like this soft yellow was coming in. Her answer was the opposite. It was female and yada, yada, yada. And it was different from what my information was. So I shut that down, even though I knew that what I had gotten was clear, even though I knew that this was a regular way that I got my information and it had been validated other times. But for some reason, in this situation, I chose to believe her when she said, if you didn't get it this way, then you're wrong. The damage that did for me, like I said before, was great. I was going to say catastrophic, but it was really hard because I that reinforced the self-doubt that I was already carrying. And in hindsight, perhaps I had that experience as a way to bring this to the surface for me. While I was in it, I felt really defeated. I felt that I was so far off. I didn't trust anything else that might be going on in my life or any sort of energy work that I was doing. It really did a number on my head. And because I wanted to belong so bad, this was a big group. I don't know, at the time, she had 600 people in this group. And um, I took a course from her. And because I had invested money, because I believed that she had some information for me, that she could teach me, that she could unlock the blocks that I had. Because of all of that, I discounted my own intuition. I threw my discernment out the window because I was invested in making her right at my expense, because I wanted to belong, because I wanted to feel like I fit in somewhere. So this need to belong can cripple us. It throws our own wisdom right out the window. We discount that, discard it. So why does that happen? Why do we let it happen? Besides the obvious wounding and healing that needs to be done, what do we lose when that happens? Or when does the need to heal outweigh the need to belong? What I've come to realize, and I always knew this on some level, but I couldn't, it was always at arm's length. I couldn't really grasp it until I gotten further along in my healing. The thing is we are all sovereign beings. That is our birthright. We have incarnated into a realm that tries everything in their power, everything under the sun, to strip that sovereignty away from us because they know we actually have it innately, but they've made us believe that we don't. And when we act in a place that is not sovereign, we give all our power away. We give all control away. So if you are looking for a way to let go of the need to belong, my suggestion first is to start with looking at underneath that. What is it really that you're trying to avoid looking at? What is the need to belong masking? For me, it wasn't that I wasn't, it was that I wasn't good enough. That's how I felt most of my life. The second piece of that is that I didn't really love myself. I know that is such a buzzword, and I used to roll my eyes when people would say that to me. And I would have healers say, people that I respected say, you need to love yourself more. And I would roll my eyes and walk away infuriated because what the hell does that even mean? Of course I love myself, but did I really? So if you're looking to heal that need in you, what is it masking? What is underneath that? Is it, like for me, that you don't feel like you're good enough? Is it that you're afraid to be alone? And what does that mean? So if you get curious and look underneath these things, use your intuition, maybe you could do some automatic writing. Here's a great tip for you to try. In your dominant hand, write the question out. What's underneath my need to belong? So in my case, it'd be my right hand. I'd write my question out. Why do I need to belong? Why is this so strong for me? Put the pen in your non-dominant hand and let the answers come. This is a beautiful tool that sort of cuts through all of the filters that we have in place, and you let the stuff come. Don't edit it. Don't self-edit it. Don't get in the way of it. Let it come. And then if you have another question, switch back to your dominant hand, write the question out, and give the pen to the the non-dominant hand, in my case, the left hand, and let the answer come. So you could use that as a way to explore, if you don't already know, if it doesn't come to you right away, to explore why the need to belong is so strong for you. And one of the things that I learned as I explored this for myself is I was afraid, and it's just actually just another thread of not being good enough. What if I wasn't enough? Just enough, not good enough, but enough. What if I let go of all those threads that told me that I needed to do this in order to belong? What if I released all that and I found out that I wasn't enough? And that's actually where the healing myself came into play. I've done a lot of work around that, and there were lots of wounding around that because I thought in order to love myself, I had to act a certain way, behave a certain way, be a certain way, be a certain person, because I had equated that with love. But that was always looking external for love. So in exploring what if I'm not enough, it gave me the opportunity to release more layers, to heal more wounds that were there, to release more belief systems. Because underneath everything, when you strip everything away, like I mentioned already, we are sovereign beings and we are absolutely perfect just as we are. We don't need to actually fix anything. We can choose to heal things for different reasons so that we can be happy with being ourselves, so that we don't have to people please, so that we can access more of our multidimensional selves. There's all kinds of reasons that we can heal. But if we come at it from the stance of getting to know self more rather than fixing self, it changes the whole flavor. And when we are willing to stand in our essence, stand in our sovereignty, stand in our conviction of love for ourselves, anything is possible. The whole framework of the world changes. If we each did that, knowing that any choice that we make is from a sovereign choice. Do I want to do this or do I feel obligated to do this? Does doing this bring me expansion or does it bring more contraction? Does doing this further me along or does it hold me back? When we start looking at the world and making our choices from a place of sovereignty, it takes all the pressure off. That's what I've found. There's this unknown pressure that I had put on myself that I had to, certain things were expected of me. Actually, making this video, I thought it had to be a certain way. And now since I've let go of that, I just am able to come on and talk. And it takes all the pressure off of me. People will either resonate with it or not, and that's okay. It actually doesn't, I get to choose that it's not going to change who I am. I'm here sharing my truth, sharing my experiences in hopes that it helps somebody. But when we actually can let go of all of those strings that are attached and the threads that pull us this way and that way, and we think we have to turn around 3 times and look this way or go down this path because everybody else is doing it. When we let go of all of that, it actually becomes more lighthearted. Life becomes easier. There's not I guess pressure. Pressure is what keeps coming to me. I felt so much pressure to conform, to behave, to not rock the boat, to make sure everybody else was taken care of first before me. But those were all coming from non-sovereign decisions. Those were coming from my wounding, from my need to belong, because I wanted people to like me, because I wanted to feel like I had friends and family that would accept me. But really what got in the way is that I didn't accept myself first. And I didn't know that until I started unwinding and unraveling all of the belief systems and all the conditioning that I was carrying. So when we let go of all of that, in this case, we're talking about the need to belong and understand that everything that we have is within us already. If we're in a job that we don't like, we can choose to leave that job and get a different job. A lot of us don't because we are tied to, well, we won't have enough money. And that's a whole different mindset and a whole different belief system. And that will be a different video. But just as an example, if you're in the job you don't like, choose a different job. If you're in a relationship that drains you, that you give more than you receive, leave. And again, we don't for a host of different reasons, all of which are not true, right? We've attached meaning to them. We'll be alone. I can't make it on my own. Who's going to watch the kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Understand that those are just decisions being made based on a set of belief systems. So if you take the belief systems out of the picture and understand that each one of us is here on the planet, we have a mission, but we're also here to experience things. And each thing is just an experience. It doesn't have to be right, wrong, or any shade of that in between. It's just an experience. We gain information from it and we can choose to have a different experience. I've gotten what I need from this experience, the job that I don't like, for example, or the relationship that's not fulfilling, as an example. I've gotten what I need from that and I'm ready to move on. Anyway, I'm sort of rambling here, but the point I wanted to make was we all are sovereign beings. We've just forgotten that. They work really hard to keep us cycling and looping in this forgetfulness. But we reclaim our power. We take it back when we start stripping away all of the things that keep us cycling in that giving that loop of giving our power away. When we start recognizing the wounding and trauma and belief systems that are keeping us locked in this down this path, when we start looking at those and healing those one by one, we come back to ourselves. We're able to remember who we are, that we're more than these physical bodies, that we have sovereignty. It's our birthright. So that's my story of how I healed my need to belong. And it's really beautiful on this side. It's really beautiful when all the work that I've done to accept myself, to realize that I'm pretty awesome. I spent decades not believing that I was awesome, not believing in myself, looking for others to tell me that, doing all of the things to please those people so that they would pat me on the back and say, "Great job, Mitzi." That comes from me now. And it is total freedom, total freedom. I wouldn't have believed it had I not experienced it for myself. And I'm getting emotional because of all of the time that I lived letting others dictate what was true for me. Maybe the same thing's happening for you. And what I can say is that when you're willing to do the work to heal all of that underlying crap, the other side is so worth it. It's like the world opens up when you're willing to take ownership, when I'm willing to take ownership, when we're willing to take ownership of our sovereignty, when we're willing to choose us and do the things that light us up and to remember who we are. We're not who they say we have to be. We actually are our own unique individuals. And we're here on the planet to light it up and to change the way that it has been for eons. So we're here to do our part. You can't do that until you reclaim your sovereignty. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, where you are in reclaiming your sovereignty, how this landed for you, if anything resonated, or if you have any questions. I'd love to hear from you. Just drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.